Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Week 5 edition of the Border NFL Gurus Commissioner's Address. What a week. First week of buys. Had a pile of injuries again to some really key guys. Going to set a different stage going forward. So, you know what? Fuck it, let's dive right in. Let's open up with Joe Buck Yourself versus Clug the Plug. Joe Buck Yourself taking this one 130 to 110. Led by Deshaun Watson with a staggering 46.54 points. Really shooting the lights out against the Chiefs in a losing effort, but I could give two shits when he puts up points like that. So Joe Buck Yourself sliding up in the 5th spot. Clug the Plug dropping down to 11th with a 1-4 mark. And Joe Buck Yourself with a 3-2 record. And that is back-to-back wins for Joe Buck Yourself, which almost never happens. So I'll take it. You know, it's a good start. Whereas Clug the Plug, I got some work to do. Moving over to Billy Large and Rosterbation. Billy Large picking up the W here, 116 to 107. Nice day from Carson Wentz, 4 passing TDs. Only 1 pick. AJ Green showed up. Tyreek Hill. The rest of his roster has a little bit to be desired, but it was enough to get it done. Rosterbation opting to go with Phillip Rivers here. Drew Brees is on a bye. But, hey, you know that happens. And Billy Large picking up the W, moving him to 3-2 and into the 7th seed, and dropping Rosterbation to 3-2 and leaving him in the 6th spot. So both still in pretty good shape. Moving over to the Panty Raiders versus Rogers Dodgers game. Panty Raiders showing up this week, $1.53. Oh, and they take this one 153 to 130. Fun fact, Rogers Dodgers would have beat literally everyone else in the league this week except for Panty Raiders. So that's a tough break. But what do you do? Panty Raiders led by Melvin Gordon with 28 points. Rashad Jones, Miami safety, with 19. Telvin Smith, Jacksonville linebacker, with 19. Just a well-rounded effort from his squad. And Rogers Dodgers comes up a little light, leaving Gronk in despite the fact he was out. Strange when he could have had Ed Dixon in for 17.5 points. Still wouldn't have been enough, but it wouldn't have been as much of a laugher as it was. So that moves Panty Raiders up to 3-2 and into the 4th spot in the league, dropping Rogers Dodgers down to 2-3, and he is currently sitting in the 8th seed overall. Excuse me. Moving over to Race Finkles versus Suck My Ditka. Race Finkles eking this one out, 126.44 to 124.86. She was a tight one. Race Finkles led by Dak Prescott and Leonard Fournette, each putting up 30+. Suck My Ditka with a heartbreaking loss, with a shade under a point. Been a few of those this year for Suck My Ditka. But such is life. Race Finkles, that pulls them up to 3-2, leaving them in 3rd in the league, and dropping Suck My Ditka to 1-4 and leaving them in 10th. So they got some work to do. Got a little bit of work to do. Moving over to Mighty Ducks and the Wendell Beckhams. Wendell Beckham's taking this one rather easily, 105 to 83. Well, when you start Jared Goff, I don't know what you expect to happen, especially against a pretty good Seattle D. But hey, I mean, sometimes you got to mix it up and try something different, right? Matt Ryan was on a bye too, so I get it, Reed. Just doesn't look very good. So, yeah, Wendell Beckham's again, led by OBJ, who's also done for the year now. And Butker, kicker, Kansas City, 21 points. I don't know where you find these guys, Watt, but it's working for you. So Wendell Beckham's takes this one 105 to 83, moving them up to 5-0 and the last undefeated team. Which is strange because he puts a lot of stock in the Chiefs, and they're the last undefeated team in the NFL. So maybe there's a correlation there. Moving him to 5-0, 1st overall, and dropping the Mighty Ducks into the basement, 1-4, sitting in the 12th spot. And last but not least, moving over to Vic this versus Hanging with Hernandez. This is just a piss poor game all around. Hanging with Hernandez taking this one 86-63, and moving Hanging with Hernandez to 2-3 and moving into the 9th spot, and dropping Vic this down to 3-2, and he still sits in the 2nd seed because he leads his crappy division. Yeah, 63 points typically ain't going to get you the win in this league, but Hanging with Hernandez ekes out a win with 86 points, which also doesn't happen very often. So good on him, but yeah, that one was a bit of a snooze fest. But anyway, Hanging with Hernandez picking up the win. So as it sits right now, we got a lot of 3-2 teams sitting here. And if playoffs start tomorrow, actually 5 of the 8 teams would come from the Rockstar division. Not sure how Vic this is still sitting atop. Oh, they're 3-0 in the division. That's how. So he's leading the division with a 3-0 record. And there's literally 6 points separating 5th from 3rd. So she's pretty tight right now. And with a lot of those key injuries, opens the door for a lot of guys off the wire. Moving over to our blowout of the week. Well, that belongs to the Panty Raiders over Rogers Dodgers by 22.44 points. And to be honest with you, by the afternoon games, it looked like it was going to be a fuck of a lot worse than that. So, I mean, good on you, Rogers Dodgers, for climbing back into it, but just wasn't enough. And you hold the prestigious title of Blowout of the Week. Moving over to our Jackass of the Week. Well, that one's got to go to Vic this week. For 63 points, leaves Von Miller in even though he's on a bye. I mean, is Von Miller that desirable of a player? Defensive player that you can't drop him and pick up someone else? I don't know. And when you put that kind of stock into the Minnesota offense, who's not known for being a real explosive offense, I guess that's what happens. So, Mr. Flash, you own the other prestigious title of Jackass of the Week this week. So, looking forward to week 6, we have some pretty key matchups. We got Joe Buck Yourself versus the Mighty Ducks. Win there could really pull Joe Buck Yourself into the division lead, combined with a Vic this and a couple other losses, but it's looking good for him. Hopefully he can pull it off. We got Billy Large and the Wendell Beckhams. That should be a good game as well. What will the Wendell Beckhams do without OBJ? We shall soon find out. Panty Raiders versus Vic this. Should also be a good game. 2nd versus 4th. 2 3-2 teams going at it. And then Clug the Plug versus Hanging with Hernandez. Kind of a bottom feeder match, but a win pulls Hanging with Hernandez right back into this thing. And then pull him up to a 500 record. Then we have Race Finkles versus Rosturbation again. 2 3-2 teams going at it. Should be a dandy. And then we got Rogers Dodgers versus Suck My Ditka. And Suck My Ditka really needs a W here, to say the least. So, moving into week 6, buys are continuing. Backup running backs, guys like that becoming hot on the waiver wire. Ton of injuries. Things are about to get real interesting here as we get towards the middle of the season. I'm looking forward to week 6. Got a tender matchup, so that never hurts. But hey, you never know. Any given Sunday. So until next week, keep playing that wire. All hail the commish.